students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and taking precaution against the coronavirus. First of all, tell me what are you doing now? I think some of the students are sitting on the chair, some of the students have mobile in their hand. So, please make notes while seeing this video. Okay? So at the end of the last video, we have already talked about the interaction between the any two objects. Okay, so whenever two objects interact each other, one of them applies the force on the other. Okay, whenever two bodies interact with each other, one of them applies force onto the other. But how the bodies interact? This is one question. Okay, we know that from the last video the bodies are interact with each other, but how do the bodies interact? See, first, the interaction between the bodies can be basically of two types. One in which body is in contact with each other, and one in which body is not in contact with each other. Okay, so the forces that results when the body is in contact with each other are called contact forces, and the forces that between the bodies are not in contact are called as non-contact forces. Okay, so basically there are two types of forces, contact forces and non-contact forces. Students, it is easy to think of the contact forces, but it is little difficult to think of the non-contact forces. Why it is so? Because in case of contact forces, we can imagine that two things are in contact with each other. Just like I have asked you one question at the beginning of this video, that what you are doing. That means some of the students have mobile in their hand. So what does it mean? They are in contact with their mobile, their hand touching their mobile. Okay, so there is contact between the hand, fingers of hand and the mobile. Okay, so it is really easy to think of the contact forces, but it is really difficult to think of non-contact forces because there is absence of contact. Okay, right students? So yes, there are some of the forces which operates between objects even though the objects are not in contact. So we will study about the non-contact forces later. First we will discuss about the contact forces. Okay. Suppose that you are thirsty. See, suppose that you are thirsty and there is full of glass water lying on the table. Okay, so in order to drink water from this glass, you have to lift the glass towards your mouth. Okay, just like in this fashion. That is, you have to apply the force on that glass. Okay, so how are you applying this force? Okay, how are you applying this force? You apply this force by lifting it. Okay, you are touching the glass with your hand and lifting it. So here your hand is in contact with the glass. Your hand is in contact with the glass. Okay, so the force you are applying on the glass is a contact force. The force which you apply on the glass is a contact force. Here is an example. See, this is about the contact force. Now, here is an example that this is the player wants to pass this football to his teammate, okay, who is standing on other side of the pitch. The player apply the force on the ball by kicking it. When the player apply force, his foot is in contact with the ball. Okay, so the force is called a contact force. Okay, here foot is in contact with that ball. That's why here the force which is applied by that boy is a contact force. The other examples of contact forces can be pushing the desk from one point to another. Okay, here our hands are in contact with the desk. Similarly, pressing the keys on the keyboard, okay, moving a piece on the chessboard are some of the other examples in which the part of the body are in contact with each others, okay, contact with the objects and apply force on them. So, the force generated due to our body begins in contact with the object. That means the force which is generated in our body, it starts with the contact with an object. Okay. So, the forces which are generated due to our body being in contact with the object are called muscular forces, because the muscles in our body can expand and contract, okay, when we apply the force on any kind of object. Suppose all of you know that animals also used to carry the load, okay, from one point to another. This all of you know that. So here it is the example of bullock cart. See, the bullocks are tied with cart. Bullocks are tied with cart and load add on to the cart. So the bullock then applies muscular force on the cart and moves it forward. So the muscular force is a contact force. Okay. Are there any other contact forces other than muscular force? Yes, student, think about it. Are there any other contact forces other than the muscular force? Yes, there are. Another contact force we can talk of is the force of friction. Okay, so what is the force of friction? See, try rolling the ball on horizontal surface. What do you notice? You notice that this ball gradually slows down after some time and eventually comes to halt. See, this ball gradually slows down after some time and eventually comes to halt. So, why this is happen? This is one question. So, why does the ball continue to move? Why does not the ball continue to move in the same direction? So, the reason behind slowing down and ultimately stopping this ball is the force. The force this surface applies on the ball when it is moving. Okay, that surface applies the force on the ball whenever it is moving. So yes, the surface applies the force on the ball and the direction of the force. See, the direction of the force here. The direction of the force is always opposite to that of the motion. So when the ball traveling towards the right, see, in this fashion, see this arrow. When the ball traveling towards the right, the surface was applying the force towards the left. Okay, the force is applied towards opposite side of that. That means left. So the force applied by the ball on the surface is called force of friction. Okay. So the force which is applied by the ball on the surface is called force of friction. Yes, got it, students? Now, friction plays quite important role in our day-to-day life. Okay, how does it see? We can walk because of the friction. How does it help us walk? See, when we walk forward, we push the ground. Whenever we walk forward, we push the ground with our feet in backward direction. And in return, the ground exerts a force in the forward direction, which moves us the forward. Okay, again students, when we walk forward, we push the ground with our foot in the background. In the backward direction. And in return, the ground exerts a force in the forward direction, so that we moves us forward. So the force that ground exerts. See, the force that ground exerts is nothing but the force of friction. Due to the friction over there between the surface and the foot of that man, there occurs friction, and due to that friction or due to that frictional force, we can easily walk on the ground. Okay, got it, students? Now, the example that we have seen till now are ones in which the frictional force exists between the solid object. This is all about the examples of the solid objects. Now, consider a boat moving in a quiet lake. In order to move, the person in the boat must continuously row it. Now, if he stops the rowing, it will the boat move forward. Yes, students, tell me. Now, if he stops rowing it, will the boat move forward? Yes, students. No, that boat will not move forward. Just like the rolling ball stops at the solid surface, the boat will also stop eventually in water. It stops due to the force of friction between the surface of the boat, which is in contact with the water. So, from all these examples that we have seen in this video, what can you conclude about the force of friction? We have seen these 2 to 3 examples. From that, what you can conclude about the force of friction? Yes, think about it, students. Is it a contact force? Yes, students. Is it a contact force? Yes, its frictional force is a contact force. We see that in the first example. We see that in the first example, the ball was in contact with the surface. In the second example, foot was in contact with the ground. And finally, the boat was in contact with the surface of water. So, we can safely say that force of friction is indeed a contact force. Got it, students? So, we can say that frictional force is a contact force. Okay? But is the contact force or is the contact between the object is necessary to force to act between them? Yes, students, think about it. See, is that contact force is necessary or is the contact is necessary between the two objects to apply the force? This is the one questions which arise in your mind. So, is contact between the object necessary for the force to act between them? See, till now we studied about the contact forces. Okay? These are the forces in which the contact between object is necessary. Actually, it is the revision of contact forces, students. Remember this. This is the revision what we have learned till this slide. Okay, so till now we have studied contact forces. These are the forces in which the contact between the object is necessary for the force to operate between them. Okay, so the muscular force and the force of friction are the examples of contact forces that we have discussed previously. But does the contact between the object is necessary? Yes. Does the contact between the object is necessary? Think about it, students. Think. See. First we can see about. Let us find out that why the contact is necessary for the object for playing the force. See, let us find out. For that purpose, we perform an activity. Take a bar magnet and place it on table. What is a bar magnet? We all know. What is a bar magnet? First of all, we all know that what magnets are. Okay, so the bar magnet is an artificial magnet which has the shape, which has this shape. Okay, so place an iron nail on the same table, okay, at some distance away from the bar magnet. Now move this bar magnet slowly closer to the nail, but make sure not to touch the nail. Make sure not to touch the nail. What did you notice? When the bar magnet was sufficiently close to the nail takes a leap towards the magnet and sticks to it. Okay, so what does this tell us? This shows that the magnet attracts the nail and contact is not necessary for this attraction. Okay, this, I repeat, this shows that the magnet attracts the nail and the contact is not necessary for this attraction. So the magnet pull the nails. Okay, so the magnet pull the nail towards it even though it was not in contact with nail. The force, so the force that exerts magnet on the nail is called magnetic force. Okay, so contact is not required for the magnetic force to come into the play. We call this force is a non-contact force. So magnetic force is a non-contact force. Now see the next example. Now if you bring this magnet to your iron cupboard, you will get the same result. As you move this magnet closer and closer to the cupboard, the magnet attracts the cupboard toward itself and vice versa. However, in this case, it is the magnet which will shoot off your hand and stick the cupboard. See in this figure. Are there any other non-contact forces besides the magnetic force? See, once again, I tell you, if you bring this magnet to your iron cupboard, you will get the same result. Okay, as you move this magnet closer and closer to the cupboard, the magnet attracts the cupboard towards itself and vice versa. So however, in this case, it is the magnet which will shoot up your hand and stick to the cupboard. So are the any other non-contact forces besides the magnetic force? Yes, think about it. See, when you release an object, see in this case, when you release an object, see a plastic ball, okay, which is released from some height above the ground. It just fall on the ground. Why does the ball fall towards the ground? Yes, think students. Why does the ball fall towards the ground? This is because of the force that the earth exerts on the This is because the force that earth exerts on it in the downward direction. Okay, so the earth always pull the object towards it. This force, see, why does the ball fall towards the ground? This is because the force that the earth exerts on it in downward direction. So the earth always pull the object towards it. Okay, so this force that the earth exert on the object is called gravitational force. Due to this gravitational force, that object fall onto the ground. Okay, so this force is attractive in nature. The gravitational force is attractive in nature. That is, it attracts two objects towards each other. When you open a tap water, see the next example. When you open the tap water, begins to flow. Okay, begins to flow in downward direction. This is because of the gravitational pull of the earth on the water. Due to the gravitational force, that water falls onto the ground. Now I wanted to tell me, is gravitational force is a non-force? Is gravitational force is a non-force? So sorry, non-contact force? Yes. Tell me, students. Is gravitational force is a non-contact force? Yes. Yes, it is. So we can clearly see from our examples the contact is not required between the earth and any other object to attract with each others. So this is all about the gravitational force. So we can say that the gravitational force is also a non-contact force. Now take two balloons, and one of them is suspend by means of thread, okay, and hold other balloon tied to its end and bring it towards the other balloon which is suspended. So what do you notice over here? See, students, did you see any force between them? Nothing in particular? Yes? See, students, now you have to, yes, there is any kind of force between these balloons? No. Now you have to rub the free balloon which is in your hand with a woolen cloth for some time. After that, bring it near to the suspended balloon. Do you see anything strange now? Yes, students. Both the balloons coming seen towards each other. That is, we can say they are attracting each other. Okay. So why this is happen now? Why this is happen now? See, it's happened because of force that acts between them. The force is attractive in nature, but this attractive force was not present initially before rubbing it. Okay, students? Now, sometimes must have happened to this balloon after we rubbed it. See, after we rubbed it with the balloon woolen cloth, see, it gets the charge. Okay, so we can say that balloon acquires something from the cloth. Acquires something from the cloth after rubbing, and that something is what we called as electrostatic charge. See this star like, these are the electrostatic charge which are gained by the balloon by rubbing the woolen cloth. Okay, I repeat, see, when we rub the balloon with woolen cloth, it acquires some charge. So this balloon is charged now. So this balloon is charged now. This charge is responsible for the force of attraction between the two objects or between these two balloons. Now, what about the suspended balloon? Okay, this is fine. The one balloon which got the charge. But what about the suspended balloon? See over here. When we call it uncharged balloon. Okay, that suspended balloon means that blue balloon. We call it uncharged balloon since it has no charge. Okay, it has no charge. It doesn't have any charge, as we haven't rubbed it with anything. Okay, now we have to rub. Now we have to rub this balloon, that means this blue balloon, suspended balloon, also with woolen cloth. Okay, with woolen cloth. So it will also be charged. So we have two charged balloons now. Okay, bring them together. What did you see? Bring these two balloons together. What did you see? Now both the balloons are moving away from each others. Okay, so these balloons are moving away from each others. Now Now that is, they are repelling each other. Okay, see the force of repulsion over there between these two balloons. Again they are repelling each other because of the force that is acting between them. So here the force is required. So sorry, here the force is repulsive in nature. Because of that force of repulsion, these two balloons are repel with each other. Okay, so what we conclude from these two experiments? See, in the first case, there was a force of attraction between the charged and uncharged object. Okay, this we have concluded over here. There is force of attraction between the charged and uncharged object or uncharged balloons. In the second case, there was force of repulsion between both the charged bodies. See here, red balloon is also of charge and blue balloon is also of charge, but there is a force of repulsion between these. So, in fact, whenever we rub two bodies together, both of them at least acquire a charge. Okay, so then this charge attracts or repel other charged bodies when brought together or brought near them. So the force exerted by charged body. See, the force exerted by a charged body on another charge or uncharged body is known as electrostatic force. So the electrostatic force is also one of the example of non-contact force. Is the electrostatic force is also a non-contact force? Yes. It is a non-contact force because these two balloons are not in contact with each other, but they attract with each other by acquiring the charge over there. Okay, so we saw that the contact was not required for the balloons to move away or to come towards each others. So here is one more experiment that we can perform at home. You should perform this experiment at home and give me and send me the photos. Okay, see, rub your hair with comb sometime and then bring this balloon near the sorry you have to rub the hair with comb sometime and then bring this comb near the small pieces of paper. What do you see over here? See, the small pieces of paper get attracted. The small pieces of papers are get attracted to comb. Why are they attracted to this comb? This is the one question which arises in your mind now. Okay, why are these paper pieces are attracted towards this comb? Can anyone tell me the reason for this? Yes, students, think what happens with these two objects, comb and the paper pieces. See, yes, the answer is when you rub your hair with a comb, it acquires some electrostatic charge. Okay, and this charge was responsible for the electrostatic force of attraction. These charges are responsible for the electrostatic force of attraction between these small pieces of paper and the comb. So this is the simple experiment you can perform at your home. So please do this experiment at your home and send me the photos in my mail ID. Okay. Now this is all about the forces, types of forces, means the contact force and non-contact forces. Now the force is come into play whenever there is interaction between the two objects. This we have already seen. But is the force effect on any kind of objects? What are the effects of the forces? This we have to see in this. Now, the force have some of the effects. How? See, what can be its effects? Let us take an example. Force can set the stationary object in motion. Suppose you have a ball which is in stationary, that means which is in stationary phase means it is at rest. Okay, and that ball, suppose you have ball in your hand, so that ball is in the stationary phase. Now you have to set that ball into the motion. So force can set the stationary object in a motion. So can you think the other things it can do? Can you think? So the first effect is when you force the ball, the raised ball can set in the motion. This is the effect of force on the ball. Can you think the other things it can do? Yes, students. If ball is in motion, suppose ball is in motion of velocity 2 meter per second. Okay, so and it is pushed harder, so its velocity get changes. Suppose you push the ball hardly, then the velocity or the speed of that ball gets changes. So force also effect on the change. Force also effect on the speed of the object. So it can change the velocity or change the speed of any object. Okay. So force can also change the velocity of an object. The next effect is force can stop the motion of object. Suppose you are playing with the ball and you stop that ball by keeping your hand in front of that ball. So that ball will stop. How? Because you apply a force over there. Okay, so force can also stop the moving objects. Now, anything else you can think that force effect? Yes, students, think about it. Anything else that also force can affect? Yes, force can also change the direction of motion. Okay, when you suppose in case of plane, if ball moving towards the north, a kick from the right side change the direction of the ball towards north to west. Okay, so in this way the ball, in this way the force can affect and change the direction of ball. Anything else, students? Is there anything else that the force can do? Think, and don't think in terms of motion. Okay, a force can change the shape of an object also. See over here. The last one is the force can also change the shape of an object. If we apply the force from two sides of the spherical ball, then the shape of that ball gets changes. Okay, then the shape of that ball gets changes. So these are all the effects of forces that occurs on any kind of objects, whether that object is in any state. So according to that state, that effects are there. Okay, so effects are the force can change the or force can set in motion, change the velocity, stop the motion, change the direction, and change the shape of any object. Okay, students, so this is all about the what we call force, interaction between the two objects, then the types of the forces, that means contact force and non-contact force, and their effects. Okay, so in this way this chapter, that means lesson number 9, force, is also over. Okay, students, if anybody have queries regarding these topics, so please feel free, ask me in the comment, or please ask me in or send your queries to me by mail me. Okay, so thank you.